Lucas is the only person probably in existence, would you say, that a bloody nose just outright petrifies?
Well, it was really strange. It was unlike any other bloody nose I'd ever had.
Aren't they all? Hey everyone,
Hey,
and
everybody.
welcome to Why You Still Here, the show that we talk about whatever we want. And today, Lucas, why are we still here?
It's the Black Friday special
Yes,
features.
it is. It's special features 27, the Black Friday special. Fool.
I
It's a Black
didn't see
Friday
that down
special,
there. It's
fool.
great.
Yeah, I purposely had to design it so it was right behind my head, so I didn't reveal it at all.
Very
I
well
was gonna
engineered on your
go
behalf.
with the Black Friday special bitch, but then I was like, well, YouTube has this ability to pick up words,
I know in the
and
first
they
minute.
would not like that. Like, not even words that we say, but words that are written out.
Yeah, because I'm sure you've
And
noticed on
yeah.
Mac, if you hover over text, you can scroll over it with the cursor and you can copy and
Oh
paste
yeah,
text from within video. So
that's good. Yeah, I like it. That came along, the beginning stages of that came along like in photos, like I don't know,
a
two
few
years
years
ago, I want
ago.
to say. Um, but it was good. Yeah. So yeah, special features. Um, I just assume that everybody goes into every single special features for the first time because let's face it, once you go into one episode, you never come back.
Exactly. It's a void.
It is,
We
it
are the
is.
Hotel California of videos. You can
This
check
we're
out.
the Hotel California
You'll
of
never leave.
channels, unfortunately. But yeah, so special features is basically it's the hodgepodge episode. It's everything gets shoved into here that doesn't really fit into its own specific category. We might have like a funny story that happened to us. We might have like a quick movie review or something like that that isn't going to go anywhere else. And then what it originally started off as was me talking about like some behind the scenes stuff, as far as like thumbnails went or
Talking about the
just
detailed thumbnail of Lucas as a blueberry. That
yeah,
was
yeah, that was the
maybe the
original
first special
episode.
features episode.
I think it
Yeah.
might have been. And how easy that would be now with the AI features of Photoshop. But
Back in our day.
yeah, it also would have been easier just with me being more knowledgeable now too. The way I went about it was the hardest possible way because I
Well,
was so
that's how
brand
you
new
learn.
to it. But yeah, that's what happens when you're a self-taught Photoshopper, I guess. Um, but yeah, so talking about like thumbnails and other little behind the scenes tidbits and whatnot. It's like the special features of a DVD.
Remember those double
If
disc
you,
collector's
yeah, if you
editions?
remember that, still exists to this day. You could put in a Blu-ray, you could put in a 4K. Sometimes it says bonus, sometimes it says bonus features, sometimes it just says features, sometimes it says extras, but sometimes it says special features. So
That's what we remember. That's what we're going with.
I think it's the best one out of all the options anyway, right? So yeah,
Damn Skippy,
and that's
fool.
that's it. The end of the story. No, what it has mostly evolved into, though, is, the show and tell, because there's not a whole lot of thumbnails anymore, mostly because I rarely have the time to make them
We just
anymore.
need a dedicated somebody. We need that third wheel that wants to be
Mm,
behind the scenes, that doesn't want to be on camera, that
yeah,
doesn't
no,
is not asking for the guts and the glory. That
I'll
would be
be the
great.
person that does the thumbnails if I can find somebody that will edit videos.
Take over the
Then I will
entire, yes.
happily just do the thumbnails. Because the thumbnails they take hours sometimes, but they're much more I liken it to like building like a Lego set or something. Like it can become sort of mindless,
Hmm.
almost like a form of hypnosis or meditation. Because you just get into the groove and you just keep going with it. It's just do listen to the TV or whatever as you're doing it, and it becomes kind of fun. And then you're like really, if you're proud of your work at the end, it makes it even better. But yeah, I don't know. I was going somewhere with all of this, but basically, special features is just show and tell now, pretty
Yes.
much. With just some other stuff thrown in. I mean, I have a couple stories, I guess. I went to Motor City Comic Con, so that was one thing that I did that I met people. I don't have any items from it because
Really? Huh.
I luckily the people I met for the most part I already have signatures from. So that was fun. So I mean I have like I did like no, I didn't do any photo ops because I missed it. I was on my way there and I was going to get there in time for the John Cusack photo op and we were going to have like me, Anthony, Alyssa, all three of us together. We were splitting it, so it was like really cheap and it was going to be a professional photo and then my tire blew on the freeway and
Oh, damn, that's
just
horrifying.
randomly
That's
and I
actually
was gonna
horrifying.
yeah, I mean I was going to get there in time and like with time to spare even and then all of a sudden bam the tire blew for
Was it
no
your
particular
driver's side
reason.
rear tire?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought I saw a donut or a spare or something
Mm-hmm.
on your car in the parking lot. Okay.
Yep. It no longer as of today has that um but yeah and I pulled over to as far right as I could get and it allowed me to because I was like going fast enough obviously. And it was just this huge just hole just blown in there. Here's a photo. I took a photo as I was sitting there waiting for AAA.
Well, of course.
And I'm waiting there for AAA, and all of a sudden an MDOT guy pulls up behind me and he's like looking at me through the window. And at first I wasn't even thinking, I assumed it was the AAA guy. So I was like, oh hey, and I started to like step out of my car and it's the MDOT guy and he's like looking at me and he's like, you don't remember me, do you? And I'm like, Jim? And it was James Jude Courtney. No, I'm kidding. It was this kid that not kid. I mean, he's probably 10 years older than me. It was this guy. I had classes with him at Macomb. And I was
Oh,
probably in
small
like three or
world.
four classes with him. And so I was able to like just get out of my car. It was super loud to stand next to 696, and have a conversation. But
Yeah, I've never done
he,
that before.
it's not great, but he was able to basically help pass the time for me waiting for AAA. So I just sat there and talked to him. So it was pretty cool. And then the AAA guy finally comes after missing me, driving past me somehow. He finally shows up, and then that's, you know, I took the donut out of my trunk. Apparently, there's something called the wheel lock key. I've never
Never
heard of
heard of
this thing
that.
before in my life. Um, and Jim was like, "Hey, do you have the wheel lock key?" And I'm like, "I don't know what that is." And he's like, it's for, one of the lug nuts on the wheel. For each wheel, it gets locked with a specially designed like
Oh, so someone
wrench
doesn't steal
head.
your shit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever had a car that had this before. But okay. And he's like, it's probably in your glove box. So I checked the glove box and sure enough, it was in there. It's like this little stupid thing, you
Huh.
put it onto like a wrench to take that one lug nut off. So I don't know. I learned something that
I
day.
was gonna say, learn something new.
Yep,
I just
yep,
learned
yep.
something new.
Yep. So the guy was like, don't go over 50 miles per hour on this thing. And I was like, I sure won't. And then I
You
did.
sure did.
I sure did. To get there. And I mean, it held up fine. It's good. It's still in one piece in my trunk now. Um,
Very good.
But yeah, so I ended up getting to the convention eventually. Missed out on the photo op with John Cusack, so I had to pay for the photo with him, which is a very fun couple of photos, I must say. He
Well,
was
I've
not
already
the
enjoyed the
nicest
couple
guy.
of John Cusack photos that you already have
Yes.
that are
Yeah, there was
very
like I
entertaining.
didn't know Alyssa, Anthony's wife was going to keep on taking the photos. I'm so happy that she did because I assumed it was just going to be the one, of both of us just posing. But she kept on taking it as I was talking to him about the movie War Inc. Like first off, Gross Point Blank. Love Gross Point Blank. I've talked about it before on this channel. One of my favorite movies of all time. Probably top 20 movies for me. And so I started to say that to him, but I was like, I love so many John Cusack movies, but I focused in on that. And I'm like, I was so disappointed that never got a sequel because I remember when I was a kid and the sequel was announced and they were starting like the planning stages of it,
Hmm.
like the early development on it. And I was so damn excited and it fell through. Never happened. So there was never a sequel, but they made a movie called War Inc., which is like a spiritual successor. Like it's basically the same characters thrown now over into the Middle East, on like an assignment. And they don't have the same names or anything, but it's basically the same, except, they didn't have the actual IP because
Hmm.
Disney owns the IP of Grosse Point Blank. Um, so I don't know. It ended up being some other company that took it on, but still written by John Cusack, starring John Cusack and Joan Cusack. Um, and it's good, but that's what you'll see in those photos is basically me saying, I'm so disappointed there was never a sequel. And that will give you some of his faces where it's like, like looking at me like I'm a loser. And I was just like, but I love War Inc. And he was like, I mean, that's the sequel. And I'm like, I know that that's like the sequel, like I get it, it's like the spiritual successor, but I'm like, it just would have been cool, like for the actual sequel. And he's like, okay.
It's
But
like
there's
you can,
one photo out of the bunch where it looks like he's actually interested in what I'm saying.
where his eyes are
And
pretty wide and he's kind of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
smiling. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
good one.
We'll
It's a good
insert
one.
all, obviously, we'll have all those pictures.
Of course. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, they're good. They're good. They're very good pictures.
and he's like, no, that looks like I'm pissed. He's like, looks like he actually cares about what I'm saying. He
He's a
didn't.
good actor.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was super cool meeting him. I mean, he's one of my favorite actors of all time. So it didn't really matter what he said to me as long as he wasn't like a
A
dick,
dick to you. Yeah, yeah.
then that's fine. Like he was very quiet, very sort of standoffish, but nice. And the highlight of the day was Joel McHale. Joel McHale is the nicest guy I have ever met. That is like a celebrity.
Was that your first
Um,
time meeting him?
hmm
Okay,
Yeah, he was great. Um, I don't have his autograph. I have John Cusack's. I didn't have his, but also I just didn't really have the money. So,
sure.
I met him with Anthony and Alyssa. I chipped in $20 for us to take like a photo with him, and then he did like a video too. Did I
That's
show you
cool.
that?
No,
Yeah. I
you
ended
could
up
send it
like I
after, and then obviously I'll put it
posted
in the
it on
video.
Facebook, I think, for people to see. But yeah, he would like you'd walk up and he would like spend a little bit of time like getting to know you.
That's really
He'd
cool.
be like, what's your name? What's your name? Anthony, Alyssa? Oh, you guys are married? Cool. How do you know him? It's like, oh, Brandon. Okay. It's like, oh, you've known him since high school? And I was like, no, middle school. That's what I said to them. And he thought that was so fucking funny that I corrected them like that. And so he put that into his video, like that
Oh,
he
what a
did with
guy.
us. So he's like, "Oh, wow, watch out, it's middle school." And so yeah, he just kept talking to us, about like his like work and stuff. He probably spent like probably 6 or 7 minutes just talking to us. And then he's taking the photos. He did it like Matthew Lillard does, where he takes it. And then he just switched it into video mode and just started recording a video. So yeah, that gives you this video. We'll insert it.
So you guys have known each other since high school?
Middle school.
No! Middle school, you asshole!
Very short, funny.
Very cool.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha. Didn't you enjoy that?
I know I sure did.
I think we all did. And then the last person I think was Dave Coulier,
Oh,
that I
that's
met.
awesome.
Yeah. And where we live in Michigan, you could probably just meet Dave Coulier any Saturday night at like a bar in town, probably. He
Do you get
lives
to do
here.
do you get to do fun impressions with him? You're like, I'm somewhat of an impressionist
No,
myself. And then you do your impression of him doing impressions.
cut it out.
Yeah.
No. No. It's funny because we met him and he's very, very nice. Um, and then the news came out like a day later that he has cancer.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very serious cancer. It's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And he had like a raspy voice and his hair was very short, but I didn't think anything about it. And that's exactly why. His hair is short because he has started chemo treatments, and his voice is raspy because it's what some of the symptoms were from his cancer, where he was like he was sick and had a sore throat just for days and days and days and days until eventually he went to the doctor and they found out he has like stage 2 or stage 3, but they have a lot of hope that he's going to be okay. So our hearts go out to you, Dave Coulier. But he was like, I couldn't believe that though. Like he spent 3 days meeting fans at, at a convention where at the end of the day, you really don't make that much money doing that. You really have to, that's why like some really dickish celebrities just won't do it because they don't want to meet people. Um, Even if they want the money. And it's like he does that and he has cancer and he's probably miserable the whole time. Like that's pretty cool. And then wasn't a complete dick. Like he was super nice. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was fun. That's it, I think. Pretty sure. I took a photo with a guy dressed up like Lando Calrissian.
Hello, what
So
have we
here's that photo
here?
right now.
It's a good one. But yeah. So I don't know. So yeah, I guess whatever. I'll get into
Jump
the
right in.
actual
Don't even
items.
dip your toes in. Just cannonball right into that motherfucker.
Um, sure, I shall. Sure. I'm trying to find something. You know what? I'll show this because I was supposed to show it. Like probably at least one special features ago, but maybe even two. And I realized I never showed it off. I don't think, at least. I went back and tried to quickly look and see.
Yeah, sometimes it's
Um,
hard to go back and
and
see if you showed something off, but
it is sometimes difficult because we only hold it up for like a second
I
and then we
know. But then
talk.
you comb over it still 30 times thinking that you're gonna, yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, terrible. But I showed the previous two. So I was like, I'll just forget it. And I'm like, I remembered it, so I'll grab it. And this was the Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3.
Oh, 'cause I know you showed off the other ones at some point,
I
so
did.
I can't remember if you showed off this one or not.
I don't think so. But here you go.
Very
I've had
good.
this for a long time. And it's Kevin Conroy's, final. voice
Oh, so
acting
it's an
that's in this
important one.
movie. And yeah, yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Um, full discretion, I still have not watched any of these, but I
That
assume
was going to
they're
be my next
good.
question.
I don't know. I assume they are. I think they said the third one was the best one of the bunch, but the first one was like disappointing, and the second one was disappointing, but the third one was pretty good. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Eventually, I'll
Tune in
watch it
next
and
year.
we'll
Brandon will
see.
talk about it in special
Um,
features 36.
this is true. This is true. In other DC news, I watched The Penguin, and
Oh,
it
it's
was all
getting a
right.
physical release too, by the way.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it was a steelbook, but I know it's 4K at the bare minimum.
Okay. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I liked it. Not as much as some people. Some people just are like, they're like, oh my God, the penguin. Have you seen the penguin? You have to see the penguin. My God. And I was like, yeah, it's good. I would say definitely you should see it, but the way that the story goes, you're not going to be really missing it between both movies,
Hmm.
Batman Part 1 and Part 2. Like
It's
I'd
just
be
like
like it kind of lifts right out, lifts in, but also lifts out,
it's
drops
just like
in.
it's supplemental in every sense of the word.
It's very much so supplemental as far as I can tell. Um, like I can't really say anything. It could be construed as like a spoiler, but I mean maybe he'll like look a little different, like clothes wise, in the next movie, like maybe more like the traditional penguin, and you might think, how did that happen? And that's
Okay,
something
I
that
see where you're
slowly
going.
happens over the course of the show. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's good. Like it's in the Matt Reeves universe, which is, the Matt Reeves universe is great. Um, I would be lying if I said I wasn't tired of the ultra realistic thing, because I am. I've been tired of it for years. Um, the Dark Knight Rises, I think, was kind of like the end of me liking that sort of style, and they screwed that up so much that it was like, I don't know. I don't know. My mind and my soul and my heart opened up into the crazy comic bookiness that was Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and the whole DCEU, which was not realistic. It was the exact opposite of realistic. Um, and I started to crave that, just anti-realism almost.
Okay.
And for the Reeves verse to come along and for it to take like what Christopher Nolan did and then make it even more realistic from there, I was like, it's cool, but it's not 2005 anymore, you know?
Sadly.
Unfortunately. So I'll always hold that against it a little bit, which is just all me. I mean, I don't know if I'm the only person that feels that way. I might be. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. That's my review of it. It's pretty good. Not great. Check it out if you want to.
Oh, modern Hollywood isn't gonna like your response.
No, everybody loves it. So, I there's some things I would have changed about it, I'll say. Being
Brandon, your
a
nuance is
big
showing.
Batman fan, yes, I know, and nobody understands nuance, unfortunately, so that's not going to work for me. So they'll be like, "You hated it? 0 out of 10?" And I'd be like, "No, 6 out of 10." And they'd be like, "You hated
So you
it?"
hated
Yeah.
it.
And I'll be like, "No, it was good." And Colin Farrell, I'll say Colin Farrell is fucking incredible as that character. I mean, he probably has cemented I mean, he can't get an Oscar, obviously, for this, and
Hmm.
I don't know if they would do it anyway, but like a Golden Globe or an Emmy, absolutely. Like 100% he's deserving of that because he took what he did in the Batman and expanded upon expanded upon it like 20 times. I mean, it's fantastic. And the makeup is different too. Like it looks identical to our eye. Like looking at it, you're like, yeah, I don't see anything that's different. But they did something with it where they brought it down from like 5 hours down to an hour and a half when they're applying
Oh,
it to
very
them.
good.
So they changed it substantially, and you'd
They
never know.
streamlined the process.
Yeah, yeah, they did. And as you remember, it's like the world's greatest makeup ever,
Oh yeah,
where
you
you
can't even
don't
tell it's him
see Colin
underneath it
Farrell in it at
whatsoever.
all. And he disguises his voice enough too, where like you just don't see him in it. And over the course of the show, you're like, you get to a point where you're like, maybe I see a little bit of Colin Farrell in there, but even 8 hours of a show, technically it's more than that because the last episode is like an hour and a half long. You're still like, I can't really see it, which is crazy. You spend, and he's the main character of the show. Like you're spending all this time with him, and you're
Hmm.
still like, yeah, like I know he's in there, but I don't know. So he just transforms, and it's not just the makeup. Like I said, it's the makeup, it's the way he carries himself, it's the way he talks, it's the way he walks, it's just everything. It's just like he truly becomes a different person altogether. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's it. What's your first item?
So, a Halloween special features like would never release on Halloween, be it like the
Oh,
31st.
it'd be impossible,
Yeah. So,
pretty much.
obviously it's the end of November, so Halloween has already happened. And it was a great year. There was no snow, no rain. It was pretty windy between 5 and 5:30.
Mm.
But
Yes.
after that, it was fantastic weather. I had a t-shirt on under my Ghostface robe. That is how nice it was outside. Um, had a really massive turnout because of that. Between 5:30 to 9:30, I mean, it was pretty consistent. That last hour got pretty dead. But I mean, I want to say it was a little less than like 100 kids. So huge turnout.
Mm.
Every year is usually pretty good. Even last year for it snowing was pretty good. So I'll insert pictures here right now. The picture they'll show first is in the morning. I don't put the masks on the inflatable Amazon $15 mannequins until I get home because I just don't want them outside. Though I did have two of them outside on the balcony with Freddie and Michael, so I'll put that picture
Hmm.
up here too. But here's the new edition this year. 'Cause, I mean, it looks the same as last year, but only a little bit different. But here's this big old bad boy, the Pennywise mask, which is, I was always looking at it up really high, because where it was stored in the store. I work at a Halloween store during the season. So, finally having this big bulbous motherfucker down, it's a really great mask. Because I was telling Brandon, like, this is all latex at the top. You can see where it goes in, like, the hole there, giggity. That helps keep that shape for the hair. And the hair is pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, but for what it is, for Trick or Treat Studios, it's pretty fucking good.
Hmm.
Between the five of them that I looked at, this was the best. The detail on the forehead is really good. The shading is really good. It's not collapsed in on itself. You can see a tiny bit right there. Do you see how it's a little bit flattened in right here as compared to
Yeah.
like this side? Imagine that, but all over the
Yeah.
forehead. So
Mm.
really good one. The eyes look really good. A little bit of paint problems on the pupils, but all things considered,
Hmm.
it's pretty good. Pretty good mask. And if you remember last year, so I had the Pennywise, like the costume that I got from Spirit for $50, which is a really good costume for what it is, but the mask was a piece of shit. That's why we got this. We'll put this one on. Oh God.
You might want to take your glasses off, numbskull.
I completely forgot I had glasses. That's that's honestly pretty embarrassing. Strike that, reverse it. Oh, that's way easier, Brandon.
Yeah, I would think so.
But it's literally impossible to keep this thing up on your head, even with like the foam inserts.
You'd
The
have to
three
have a giant
people,
head.
oh yeah, the three people that I saw like try it on in the store, it just does this. It just completely falls down. My eyes are looking at like the foam piece right here. So And all for all intents and purposes, this is like a collector mask, but it's good shit. So on the mannequin, it looked pretty good. Here's a
Yes,
photo.
indeed. Lucas rigged it so as soon as you walked up, it went like it was the whole thing fell down. It was like, the Pennywise show, and it's like and then all of a sudden he had the Pennywise rigged to, it was like a puppet on strings rigged to different servos and stuff, so it does the
The
dance.
Pennywise the dancing clown. Yeah, it was crazy. I repurposed the uh the Bobby Strings animatronic from Spirit. It was crazy. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, what it was insane. And it was up for one day. Just insane.
Indeed. But
Absolutely insane.
the haven't said that in a while. But the next slew of things are like Halloween related.
Mm,
So you can still go to your next. But I will say this short little blurb though, because this is my like third year like going like all out and like making it like a lot of fun. A lot of loud music. There's the fog machine too, along with all the mannequins and stuff. A lot of different lights that are flashing. There's the stuff on the side of the house. So I mean, if you go up to it, there's a lot going on at once. Um, so every year it just gets a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. So I finally have like
what
a
she said.
legion. I have a little legion of fanboys and fangirls, all of the teenage variety. But the one interaction that stood out to me the most was this girl ran up to me and she goes, "Oh my God, Ghostface, we love your house." And I'm just like, by this point, I didn't even wasn't even doing the Ghostface voice anymore. I'm just tired, so I'm just like, thank you, I appreciate it. I put a lot of effort into it. And then she goes, "No, you don't understand. I've been too scared to come up to your house. This is the first year I've come up to your house." And I'm like, "Oh, did I throw candy at you last year?" And she goes, "Yes." And it was really gratifying because like she wanted to get a picture with her friends and like her mom took a picture. So it was really
Was there a
cool.
part of you that was thinking, what's wrong with my house this year that you weren't scared enough to come up?
Probably because she's like 12 or 13 now and like older. That's what I assumed. But now that you
Okay.
mentioned that, I think I'm going to commit it prematurely. Um, but there was another little kid who was going on
Ejaculation.
talking about how your house is a W, dude. You know what? He didn't even say dude. That's an old term. It's a W, bro. You know what that means? And I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm old, but I'm not that old. And you're an idiot for calling this
They'd
a
be like,
W.
no, I don't know what that means. Tell me.
And it was that kid said it, and then another kid said it later on. So that's in the zeitgeist of like 8-year-old TikTokers
It's
now.
not even quicker to say W as opposed to win.
It's longer actually. It's one
There's three
syllable versus
syllables
two.
as opposed to one
W3,
syllable. Yeah.
just like the letter W. And that's an L, bro.
And that is worthy of a like and share.
Indeed. So overall, great Halloween year though. Had a lot of fun. This was the last year there was 2 people that took pictures, but there was at least 10 people that were taking pictures this year. I have one picture that Josh knew the guy that took the picture with me, so Josh sent me the picture like the next day because he stopped by and I talked to him. So here's that picture too, with some real floofy hair on a Michael Myers mask. Enjoy.
Hmm. Yes.
So it was a damn fine Halloween year. And if next year if I have the same weather turnout, we'll show it later. Another dummy plan for outside. But in my perfect world, I really do want the tube TV outside playing the Silver Shamrock commercial with the dead trick-or-treaters around it, with bugs coming out of their face. It'd be fucking awesome. But that one is hard with the weather, so we'll see.
It would have to be a tube TV that you really didn't care about and were prepared to
For it to
be
get ruined.
it that's the last night of its life, yeah. Because rainy or not, windy or not, snowy or not, it could happen at any time.
Hmm.
weather can change in an
And then
instant
you
and you
have to
won't
have,
know.
you know, a power strip put out because then I have to put like the Xbox connected to it to play the commercial. So it would be like something
Oh
that would
God.
have to be like really planned out. That's the problem. So there are things that you can buy for like your iPad, and it's like on Etsy, for example, like it's a 3D printed like CRT housing that you can put it in. So I think that would be
Hmm.
better because it's just a self-contained thing. And even if it is, you know, only 10 inches, that's what she said, still good enough. It serves a purpose. But
Yeah,
anyway, good year for it though. It was awesome. Had a best Halloween in the last 5 years. It's been 5 years since it hasn't been inclement, I want to say. So very good. The weather did blow around the dummies a little bit, but what have you. They're
very good.
$15 Amazon. I do need to get the freestanding real mannequins because it's honestly to be it's
Yeah.
a fucking it is a hassle. It is a hassle.
With the important ones, you should do that. Like the whatever one you look at is like the best because they're super expensive, obviously,
Yeah, they're
like
between
actual
100 to 150 a
mannequins,
pop. And then you got
and
to
they
get the
come
one that
in
doesn't
giant
have like a
boxes.
there are some that have like a little like lean to it to have it like an aesthetic pose. Because this one guy, he came in, he remembered me from last year and he was like, "Oh, I remember you talking about your inflatable dummies, but I couldn't do that, so I bought like a real one." And he goes, "It has this real ass lean to it, bro. He looks so gay." And he showed me like the Michael Myers that he put up, and it really didn't, but whatever.
I really thought when he starts looking around that he was going to be like, by the way, did you fuck it too?
That's good.
And you're like, no. And he's like, yeah, yeah, no, me neither. Uh, by the way, look at this stance right here. It's such a
I didn't caress the chest. That was anatomically correct. No, but
very good.
that would have definitely been the cherry on top.
Yeah, that would have been good. Just like those Megan dolls. Have you ever
Oh
had one of
God.
those pop up at the store?
No, we haven't. But I did tell you about the guy that has anatomically added to the Chucky and Tiffany dolls.
Yeah, for no reason whatsoever.
That's probably why they didn't get the Megan doll. They didn't want to have that on their hands.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because he's going to do unspeakable things to it.
Of course.
Yeah. And then anybody that's like, oh, get your mind out of the gutter, you sick fuck. This is what humans do, especially human males.
How
They
do you
see
know? We are
something,
some. Apparently,
exactly.
you don't
They
think we
see
are, but we
something that's in
are.
the shape of a woman and they fuck it. Like it doesn't even have to be in the shape of a woman. Look at JD Vance. He fucked a couch. You know, like all it has to do is have an area for your penis to be inserted.
If
Like that's it.
if
That's it.
you told 100% of the male population that there is a chance that sticking your dick in a meat grinder could feel good, 80% of men would try it.
Probably. You'd have to call it something other than meat grinder, though. Like you'd have to
Oh no, they
disguise
like
it a
that.
little bit.
No, your meat's just grinding all up against it. And they're like,
Maybe
"Oh,
like
no way."
if you stick your dick into like an outlet, like a power outlet, it feels amazing. Like I could see that because meat grinder, you know that it's being destroyed.
Well, there's a
You
chance you could at
know,
least fit your dick in a meat grinder. Whose dick are you fitting in a power outlet?
like a you'd have to be like, oh, look at this device. It's inserted into the power outlet and then it has an area for your dick. And it feels amazing, and you'd have people doing that even though they were dying afterwards or during. Could you imagine how embarrassing that would be? Like the police show up and
Pants
you
around
walk in and you're
ankles, death
literally
by
just
electric
dead, like
shock.
with your
Your
dick in the wall.
your hair is all like splayed out like in a
Yeah.
cartoon.
Yeah.
And then there's just a black ring around your dick.
Yeah. It'd be good.
Do you think AI would create this for us if we got really detailed?
Oh, absolutely. But you have to be so secrety about it. Like in the way, like you have to be so smart in the way you type it out because AI, most AI searches, um, they don't allow for like nudity and stuff.
You know
So
what?
you
That is
have
the
to like,
slipperiest slope I ever thought about without thinking about it because you could create some real nasty shit by
oh
giving it some
yeah.
prompts. I
Oh
could
yeah.
understand where the diddlers would really okay,
It'll
yeah.
still create it, but you have to say it in like really specific ways, like you can't just be like blatant, about it. You have to use like, you know, pull
Maybe a
out your
scientific term
thesaurus.
like the like phallus.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But it never likes any, and like the Photoshop one is particularly bad. It won't render anything that's like it could even be violent or could possibly be sexual. Like it's just it has like all these words banned, and they're not even like bad words. Like it doesn't like the word red. That's one word. So it's like what is you like they assume red is just blood, Like
Communist
it's
China.
weird stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Probably not though. Could be the Soviets. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. This is stuff like that though.
Anyway, Brandon, what is your next
Um,
pickup so we can get on to number two
yeah.
before we're here until two?
Um, so here's a quick and easy one. So it's more one of my most recent acquirements,
Acquisitions.
acquisitions, mergers and acquisitions mostly. What's that from? Anyway, um, let's see here. Um, hmm. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this because it's not a movie that I particularly enjoy. And I saw it at the store. It was the only one on the shelf. I know that these were highly sought after, so I picked it up. It's a steelbook. And it was like, oh wow. So I took a photo of it and sent it to the steelbook group, and I'm like, should I buy this? Like, is this rare? And people are like, yeah, you should buy it. So I did.
Okay.
So maybe I'll make money back on it. I don't know. But it's the SpongeBob
Oh yeah, I
SquarePants
was
movie.
I was gonna get that steelbook, but then I canceled it because I just didn't care.
Yeah, you shouldn't have canceled it because you just can't get it, period, like on the website or anything. But yeah. So SpongeBob 25 up there and the back and yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
No,
I
I
don't know.
like the
Maybe
movie
I'd
though.
love it if I watched it again. I haven't seen it since theaters, so
I watched it in the last few years and it was very entertaining. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
very good. Maybe I'll unwrap it and watch it.
That's what she said.
Yes, she did. Yes, she
All
did.
all right. So keeping on with the mask theme, this was the next one that I picked up. I talked with Brandon about it briefly. And well, like I said, they decided not to put like actual hair on the eyebrows, which they did before in the other one, which was a totally different sculpt that
Yeah.
Brandon has brought to my attention. So in this case, you
Hmm.
just get a Don Post Studios, Justin Mabry, of course. And here's my other than this, because I was pissed about this. I didn't even think about it until I like went home. And then I watched a YouTube video of Trick or Treat Studios' previous release, and then I saw him on there, and that's when I said something to you about it. Um, so I really like this though. It looks damn good. There are some things like you talked about shit, like like the mouth bubble, like the vein. It's
Hmm.
kind of hard to see with the light. In the picture that I sent to Brandon, and I'll take another picture, you can see like the forehead vein really clearly. I like the mouth a lot on this one from a side profile. It looks really good. Same with, the cheekbones, the nose. It is pretty damn good, but look at how fucking atrocious this hairline is. Like,
Hmm.
good God, it's bad. Now, the hair, other than being the wrong color, I have to say the hair on the Myers masks have gotten quite better because this is like the same kind of hair that you're going to have on the Rob Zombie ones. It just looks like it's a little bit less hair. Wrong color, as Brandon had pointed out when I sent him the picture.
Hmm. Yeah, they Trick or Treat Studios is very interesting because the like the quality of this mask, as far as I can tell, it's nice. I'd have to see, like what it looks like when somebody converts it into a Myers mask to see if like the sculpt is good. Like as far as I can tell, it is. And
Wonder
the
if I
sculpting of the Kirk eyes is actually pretty good as well. It's better than they were for the other one. And Lucas's whole like the white throws things off a lot for anybody wondering. So you can't really see true colors of anything on his screen. So it is definitely more skin tone than it appears. I mean, you
it's
can kind of
very
see there in the
tan.
dark.
It's it's a very
But
tan mask. The color of the shading underneath the eyes is like almost what the mask kind of looks like, if that makes any
sure.
sense.
Yeah,
It does
because
look
it
pretty
just looks
opaque-ish,
gray
but
here, white even.
hmm
Like it looks like a Myers mask, really. Um, but yeah, the hair should be blonde. They've never done it blonde for some reason with Trick or Treat Studios. I don't know why. The original 75 Kirks were blonde because guess what? William Shatner had blonde hair. Now
hmm
it's gray, but it was never brown. Um, except when he started dyeing it, I guess, when he was a little bit older, in like some of the movies and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know.
Overall
It's
though,
just
I'm
never the right hair,
it's and
from
that's
the
the
right
issue
animal either.
with Trick or Treat Studios. And I told Brandon, it's like, is this better than anything we would have ever gotten in our
Oh God,
lifetimes?
yes.
Of course, hands down.
Yeah.
Do we
Yeah.
complain? It's small things that add up with every release
Yes.
that pisses you off because it's this atrocious hairline. It's the wrong color. It's the wrong kind of hair.
Yeah. And they don't have to
It
do it like that either. They showed us with the 2018 the Kills and the Ends mask that they can do it just like an independent mask maker where they put the glue line, they lay the hair down like this over the face and then fold it back. And that creates a significantly better look for these masks because that's how they're really done.
mhm.
And instead they
But
go
if
the
you look, and
really cheap
I'm
route.
not gonna tease the hair too much, but it's the same fucking shit that they always
Well,
do,
it's
you
not just
know?
that either, but like look at the front hairline. Like you shouldn't be
Yeah, that's
seeing it like
egregious.
that.
The only other
It should be
Myers mask
folded over.
that has it this bad is either like the shape and the Boogeyman mask get it pretty bad, but the H4 mask like looks always has this on it. And
Yeah.
there were a couple that didn't have this. A majority in this batch, I want to say I looked at maybe like less than 10, 8, 9-ish. Didn't get as much as the Myers masks, but like everything else was way too good to pass up on like the hairline of all things. So, but
Hmm.
overall, I complained about these small things, but you see the Myers mask in this hands down. Like it's good. I'm pretty happy with it. So my plan is to get another one at some point and just try it myself because why not? I've already done enough DIY as it is, but that's a project for another time. But for now, I'm
Use
happy
cuticle
with it.
scissors for the eyes.
Yeah, I watched the video that Tommy Lee Wallace did with wasn't it Sean Clark where they converted not this one, but it was the first Trick or Treat Studios release that they did.
No, no, that mask is a Nicholas Art Gallery NAG mask.
Oh, that's what they did
About
it to? It
about
wasn't the
six
Trick
or
or Treat
seven hundred
Studios
dollar
one?
mask. No,
Oh.
no, no, no,
Okay.
no.
Very
No,
interesting. Did not know.
no. The
Thank
mask
you,
they used
Brandon.
is a really, really high quality independent mask. It
Okay.
incredible. One of the best of the best masks. Um, yeah. And I honestly like love Tommy Lee Wallace. Of course, I love Sean Clark, and I think it's so cool the idea of that video. But I feel like the guy that got that mask got screwed because he paid for that.
He
Yeah.
paid for the mask underneath, and then of course he paid for them to touch it and come all over it and then
Yeah,
paint
he
it and all
paid
that.
for the actual like the way if you get like a Kirk like that unconverted from, Nick. over in Greece, then Nikos Drezios is the full
Not to be
name.
confused with Nick Malpagano.
Correct. And I've actually had a few NAG masks. My current H1 that I have is it's called the PS78, the phone scene 78. That's an NAG or a NAG, if you want to call it that. Um, but yeah, that mask they have in the video is gorgeous. Just breathtaking. And they did that to it. And
Because
Sean
ultimately,
Clark,
when they're done, it looks like a Trick or Treat Studios mask.
it looks like, I guess,
It just looks a little, I
like
mean, I know it's a
quality
little white. It's not
wise,
like all dried in the video, but it looks like a little too stark white. I know it's like the
Don't see
same
it.
paint or whatever that
And
they
yet
use,
it
but
was
without
it was
like
how we made the
the
note.
natural
And I do
weathering and
think I will.
everything, it didn't really look all that fantastic.
yeah, it's
It's
I
still
think
good,
that
obviously. I'm
Tommy
not
Lee
like shit talking it
Wallace,
whatsoever.
I think Tommy Lee Wallace has also sort of forgotten what he did back in 1978
Massive
and
possibility.
spring of 1978. So he's just sort of going off memory. I mean, that was a long time ago. Um, let's see here. I want to just pull up.
Yeah, I feel like these are like made to be converted though, because I mean, even just the way they threw the sideburns, does that
They
like look at
are.
it? Because it ripped
Yeah.
this pube patch off. That's exactly. But I mean, I don't know. Why am I looking so hard into this?
And that's what I told Lucas when he was complaining to me about you would not believe what they did. Screw Trick or Treat Studios, and I'm like, how many times did I ask you to repeat yourself? Because I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying to me.
Yes, this occurred in the dish
Like
room as
three
many
or
of our
four
conversation. It
times
was
I
three
said
times.
that. And it was like eventually I understood that he was saying that there was no hair put on. And I'm like, yeah, that's because everybody converts them. Um, yeah, like this is
That's impeccable.
like that's the highest quality of mask that you can possibly get. It does get a little bit better. There's the mask called the 2K from NAG, and it's exactly the price of what I just said is, so $2,000. But yeah, it's this one is like the next step down from that, and then they turned it into I mean, like it's something. It's not
It's good.
terrible, but I mean, I don't know. It has obviously ton more details than a Trick or Treat Studios mask. Ton more. An insane amount more details. So there's at least that, but you know, there you go. That's better.
hmm
It's like, yeah, it's cool, but I don't know. Sean Clark was acting like the guy paid a lot of money for that. And I'm just like, it should have been free. Because some would say that you ruined the mask. Some would say that,
Yes, they
because
could.
it's Tommy Lee Wallace, is not a professional. He spray painted the hair. That means that hair is going to have to be ripped off of the mask if you ever want to do anything else with it in the future. The spray paint on the face was spray paint. Spray paint was spray paint. The paint that was put onto it was spray paint. That's not how you do it when you're actually professionally painting it. You paint it traditionally with an airbrush, but an airbrush that has latex mixed into it, so it can move over time and it doesn't crack.
Crack over it.
This mask is going to start cracking immediately
Hey, it's
because you
authentic.
you put it onto a movable surface, like it's just not going to hold up. So I don't know if the guy paid more than like $50, then I'm sorry.
Which he did, of course, but
He probably did. And it has a novelty though that Tommy Lee Wallace did it, just like the hero. So I don't know. What do I know? I mean, it's probably worth something. now just because of that, I guess.
Of
I
course.
don't know. Who knows? Um, yes, yes. I have a ton of stuff just obscured, like they're just in piles. So there's probably things that are much more, um, like to the Halloween discussion that I could show, but whatever.
We'll get there
Uh,
when we get there. Oh, very
Twisters.
good.
This was not easy to obtain. I got it eventually when Walmart restocked, and I had no idea they were going to restock. I thought I missed out on it, in all honesty, because I had it on pre-order and just didn't have the money for the pre-order at the time, so I had to let it go, and it was just gone, like just sold out, like
Hmm.
for months. And then it finally popped up again because I kept checking, and then I got it. And this movie is a very good movie.
It is very good. Very good movie.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
Dolby
yeah.
experience.
Yeah, this and Top Gun Maverick are two the kings of the Dolby experience, I would say. So yeah. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your third item or whatever?
You know what? We're keeping in a Trick or Treat Studios theme for a few more items, so I'll
I'm
save the best.
so sad to
I'll
hear
save
that.
the best for last. But Brandon showed off his, so now it's my turn. So did get the kid Myers mask. They had an actual child size one, which was like, I swear to God, like from the eyebrows to like here, like that's the whole size of the mask. It was so tiny.
Hmm.
Um,
I
because
don't get that.
I was like almost considering like getting a kid one because he is a kid when he wears it. However, that was very quickly determined to be an absolute no.
Good, because
However,
this is the right size of the screen use mask.
though I had four of them to look at, so they went really quickly. They went within 3 days, so got it at a
I
good
all
time.
I've seen is that they're virtually identical to each other. I haven't noticed any
There
paint
was a
differences
few,
or anything.
areas where it was a little eh. But to answer Brandon's biggest question was this.
Yeah. Yeah, they screwed up in a few places
But I
and messed
mean,
them all up. So if you look to the right side of the mask, there it's the sideburn is just completely missing paint at the bottom of it. See,
there you
like
go.
it's almost like their machines, like their heads on their printers or wherever weren't
They're
aligned
misaligned.
properly. And so they were like, yeah, they were messing up a little bit, not going far enough down with some of the paint and whatnot.
Hmm.
But then again, they were probably like, you know, we this is better than us just releasing blanks of them, right? Because people are just going to get them repainted anyway. So that could have been their thought process. It has like this really weird, like white line, like across the one dangly Lucas hair up in the front there. Like I don't know what that is. Like I thought
Oh my
truly that it
God.
was a defect on mine,
It
and they
bleeds over.
all
Like you
have
can
it. Oh, I
look.
know. They all have it.
I
It's almost
didn't
like
notice this.
with the fact that they all have it, you would assume that it must be a feature on the original mask. It's not
Oh my
at
God.
all.
No
Hmm.
shit.
Yeah. No idea what
Huh.
that is. But that was the
Interesting.
second thing I noticed after I first noticed that the paint next to the eye doesn't go down all the way.
Hmm.
Yeah, weird stuff like that. I don't know. It's cool. I mean,
And
as a
it is nice
novelty,
and
it's
sturdy.
cool. It's incredibly sturdy. And when I saw that they did that, I thought, why is the Corey mask not like this?
Hmm. Yeah,
So that
it's like
confused me
they
a
did
lot.
the Kid Myers from 78 was nice and sturdy, and then they go to like a step above like a paper mask that you get for like a party favor. And then they go back to this. I guess they listen to your complaints.
Right. Yeah. Now make the Scarecrow mask like that because that's how the ones were for the movie that Christopher Nelson made. They were
Hmm.
thick. And then it's like then they give us this cheap bullshit and it's super expensive. I mean, it ranged anywhere from 20 to $25 depending on where you purchase that Scarecrow mask. And
Hmm.
this is cheaper. This was like maximum like $12. I paid 10, but it's like they're not expensive, and it's crazy to me. They're much better quality than those scarecrow masks, and they, they are made better too,
I mean, I do have to say, as
substantially.
much as Trick or Treat Studios pisses me off, I can't even give them like a compliment sandwich. It's just a cherry on top of a pile of shit. But their 2024 at least is better quality control than last year. I will say that
Yeah.
just from what I saw last year in the store compared to this year, they were much more reliable and much more consistently stocked and
The
looked
first
better.
thing I noticed was the I don't know what they call it exactly, but like the Michael Myers 1978 mask or whatever. The one that I sold you, which
That one, yeah, that one's
um
called The Shape, and then there's the Boogeyman.
yeah, the Boogeyman is the mask that, because there's a ton of them that are H1 masks. Um a ton of them. Yeah. Like yeah. A ton of them. I don't think it's called that though. You and I had this conversation before. I think it was like it's according to their website, that one's just the Michael Myers 1978 mask. Um, let's see. Uh,
Well,
Trick or Treat Studios, Trashville. By the way, where is my Rob Zombie Halloween figure? Trick or Treat Studios. Where is it? I paid for it in full like 5 months ago.
remember
Uh,
they redid it after the prototype got backlash from you, okay? Be happy.
True. This is true. Um, okay. So look at by category or license, I guess, Halloween franchise. Yeah, yeah. It's just called the Halloween. It's just called the Michael Myers mask.
So
See
if
that?
I right now we're having just so I guess behind the scenes. This is a Haunted and Haunted 2 situation just because of what I read on the label every single day. It says 78 shape on because
Hmm.
how the
Well,
masks are they're
they're right
tagged
about the
with
Boogeyman one. Like that one is
uh-huh.
called the Boogeyman,
The other one must
but
have been called the Shape at some point in history, and then they must have renamed it because, that store has gotten Trick or Treat Studio shipments for years and years, and they
yeah.
will end up reusing that tag that gets put on the front of the mask that says what it is because it's just gunned on there to give you the
I don't know.
price.
I had the original version of it. The very first year was the one that I sold you. That was the first year of them selling it. Now they don't. They used to have a ton. They used to have the Elrod mask, all this stuff that they don't seem to sell anymore.
They have it for the last couple of years. I want to say two or three.
Huh. That's crazy. The Elrod mask always had this black, thick, shiny hair on it. Which was just like, what animal is this even coming from? Like it looked like acrylic hair, which was just crazy. But so yeah, I guess now they just only do have the 78 Michael Myers mask as well as the Boogeyman. Um, by the way, why can I still not find these anywhere?
Yeah, we never got them either. It has nine
Insane,
reviews,
because
so
they were always in
apparently
stock on the website. But the problem is I didn't want to pay like 14.99 for shipping from Trick or Treat Studios. I was like, no, thank you.
holy shit.
Yeah, they massively take advantage of you as far as shipping
The
goes.
price of the knife is 25 bucks.
Right. I know.
Jesus, 40 fucking dollars after tax, like 45 bucks?
Yeah.
Close to? Jesus.
Look at these. Oh no, the all the reviews are 5 star. That's cool.
Yeah, I saw that.
Um, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. But there used to be a whole slew of Halloween one masks. For people that don't know, Trick or Treat Studios could not get the license for the original Halloween. And so what they would do is they would keep marking these
It was
things as
Halloween
Halloween
too,
2
right? Yeah.
masks, even though they really weren't. And they were mostly just molds that were used by by Night Owl Productions, which is an independent company that is operated by Justin Mabry. And so it was like his partnership with Chris Zeffro. They used his masks and then they went and
Made love.
they made love and then started making masks together and then started mass producing them and whatnot. But a lot of all of them, in fact, are masks that stem from his independent masks originally. And I can't remember what the Boogeyman, because the Boogeyman, what that was originally called. Um, something. I don't know. It's like right on the tip of my tongue of what it could be. Because they had a mask that was the Nemesis at one point, which is actually a Cemetery Gate Productions mask, but it was the Nemesis. They made that the Ben Tramer mask, which seems like they don't sell that anymore. Oh, you know why? I'm
Because of
so
Halloween too.
stupid. Because they lost the license of Halloween too. That's why. So yeah, so they would secretly label these things as Halloween 2 masks because they had that license. That was like
So
one of the
let's
very
secretly
first
label
license they
Halloween 2
got.
masks and Halloween 1 masks.
They
Ah, big
could.
brain
Yeah,
moment.
they could. You would think that they could do that. Maybe there's some weird legal loopholes and stuff that they can't. But that's how they get around it. So they would make all these Halloween 1 masks and they were like, "No. Like that's not what this is." But everybody knew it, but legally they were fine. But whatever. What's the last thing you showed?
What was the last thing I showed? Oh, the Kid Myers mask. So would that
Oh,
be the
that's right.
90
Yeah, so it's
would
me.
that be the 92-foot child murder mask?
Yeah, that would be the 92-foot child murder mask. Except not child, adult murder mask
So adult
because
murder mask worn by
there's
a
child
child.
size. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I don't understand there being a child size for that because it was a child that wore
Yes.
the regular size mask. So, I don't know. Ironically, as we're talking about this, I pulled this thing out of like storage at my dad's, aka inside my closet at my dad's. I got this. It was a Spirit Halloween thing back in the day, like 2011, 2010, 2011, and I painted it all white because I had plans to paint it. And that fell through. That never happened. So it basically exists as a blank, and it's a really giant version of that mask.
That's awesome. It's
Yeah, I
huge, but that's
really wish that I
awesome.
never screwed with it. Because these things used to be a dime a dozen. Like you would see these, they would be just going and just like taking up all the space on eBay. Like you'd be looking for a real Collegeville mask, and then these things would just be there and just like there's just so many listings of them, and you'd be like, oh, gross. Because they were painted like shit. That's why I didn't really feel bad about just spray painting it white. But yeah, I don't know. It's they originate in some way from the Collegeville mask, and
Because
they're
it does
just
look like it's a little
giant.
bit better than I mean, yeah, that's crazy how big that thing is.
Yeah, it's giant. Has a sponge on the inside of it. Yeah, much thinner mask
Which is what I
than
would
the
feel
Trick or
like
Treat
it would
Studios.
be in the movie, but whatever.
They were originally like the actual Collegeville mask, but then Wayne Toth went and he took that mask that he got off eBay that was all like old and like crispy and like about to fall apart, and he recasted it in much thicker plastic. So I don't know if it was as thick as what Trick or Treat Studios is doing there, but it was a much thicker plastic for the mask that like Dag Fairch and the stunt doubles wore. Okay, so here's something that I told Lucas that he needs to buy it. He needs to buy. He needs to buy. It's Dr. Loomis.
Let's see.
He needs to die, or it needs to whatever. Anyway, and so because I would always just watch it on Vudu because I have the digital copy of it, and I was like, I guess I'll finally. I told Lucas to buy it, so I guess I should not be a hypocrite and I should also buy it. And, Blu-ray, it's not in 4K, but Blu-ray, I mean, it's the best possible quality version of it you can get. It's better than streaming, right? This movie,
Oh, very,
thing
very
called
good.
Mad Monster Party. And yeah,
So what we'll do
it's
here is
something.
I'll hop right in and we'll go slightly out of order, but yes, yes, I bought it, and as you can see,
Indeed.
mine is out of the shrink wrap, and I have
Hmm.
watched it. I've been waiting
Very
for
good.
this. I really, 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 really liked it.
Yes, it's good.
It's
I have
good.
issues, but it's good.
There are issues, yes,
Tell me
but
some of your issues.
so I'm gonna sound like a feminist right here, but the treatment of this woman
Yeah.
bothers me so
Okay.
hard. And the
Sure.
little this guy, I couldn't tolerate one fucking bit.
Master. The
Yeah, it's got a few issues,
master.
but
He's
I
like a Peter Lorre
mhm.
impression that he's doing.
But in
That's
fact, I
how
think the
Peter Lorre
movie
talked.
is still in my PS5 actually, so.
Very good.
But yes,
You're
Brandon
not.
mentioned it before, and then it was on Amazon, and then it was expensive on Amazon, and then it was cheap again. So I'm assuming you picked it up when it
Hmm.
was cheap again, or did you get it beforehand?
I got it at its like mid-tier cheap price, not its cheapest
Okay.
price. Um, yeah. So it's good. Like, and like I said to Lucas, this movie walked so Nightmare Before
Hmm.
Christmas could run
And there's some parallels, obviously, that you could draw between the two, but it's its own movie.
for sure. And it just shocked me though that Lucas had never seen this movie
I
because
never
not
even heard
only
of it.
is you heard of it our
Well, when you
first
brought it
year of
up,
knowing each other, I brought it up to you.
other than Brandon, that's I'm
Um,
saying I had
because you
never,
kept
and no
talking
one
about how
talks
much you
about it.
loved Rankin Bass and all this stuff, and I'm like, that there's a Halloween one, right? And I forgot that I even mentioned it. And then all of a sudden, I listened to you go on and on for like, 7 months straight about the Universal monsters. And so then I'm like, now seriously, you have to see this. Like,
Well,
how have you not seen
I
this?
love the fan
And I got
service
angry.
for the and honestly, this one I will grant you permission to be angry for. I mean, even down to like the opening when Baron von Frankenstein, Boris Karloff is talking, when
Yeah.
he would say things, whenever he would say it would be drawn out just like Dracula talking about the children of the night, and there's so many cool little callbacks where if you're a fan, you'll pick up on them. It's good shit. I like it. Really good.
Yeah.
It's very
And the
cute.
doctor literally looks like Boris Karloff.
Hmm.
Like they obviously modeled it off of him. There's some things that confuse me. It's not really a negative, but like, why is, Frankenstein's monster called Fang? There it is. There, now I'm pointing in the right place. Like, why is his
Yeah,
name Fang?
with Phyllis Diller by his side like the whole time.
Now you're getting into exactly what I was going to bring up because
Okay.
I have a sticking point with this movie. And I love it. And I go through the same evolution all the time because I don't watch it every year. I watch it like every 2 years. And I always go, this movie's so good. Why don't I watch it more? And then all of a sudden, this fucking thing comes along. And I'm like, this is why. I cannot fucking stand that character. It is
Awful. It's
grating.
awful. Grading is
Grating.
literally the perfect word
She
to
comes
use
along and makes a good scene bad.
every time
Like,
without fail.
oh, like it's just so like it's just so like did Phyllis Diller understand? Maybe she didn't because it wasn't really a thing. Like you have to like rein it in, sister, with your
And
voice,
I
okay?
understand that with these stop motion stuff and cartoons of the 50s and 60s, there's some weird inflection shit going on. There's some weird accents here and there. Um, But like, even down to all them doing their thing at the ship halt and all that shit, like that sounds cartoony and caricature.
Yeah, it's fine.
Or Or gee golly, whatever his name was, he just talks like this the whole
Like Jimmy
time.
Stewart.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like it's fine and it feels
Yeah, it's
60s,
fine.
it's campy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but no.
Yeah.
No.
It's terrible.
Yes.
Terrible. And like it's not even how Phyllis Diller usually talks. Like she would be on Scooby-Doo all the time and it was
Hmm.
always fine. And she's like doing something specific here. And then it makes me wonder like why didn't they just do Frankenstein's, like the Bride of Frankenstein. I don't know what I was going on there for start saying Frankenstein, like Frankenstein's monster's wife. Haha, no. Why didn't they just do the Bride of Frankenstein? Like make her look like that,
Hmm.
and it'd be like that makes sense because they all look like how they're supposed to, right? And maybe there was like weird like copyright issues and whatnot because that was
Yeah,
only
there's
20
some nuance in
years,
between.
30
Yep.
years at most in between these two versions. So they're not in um, the
The free use
public.
copyright public domain.
Yeah, there we go. They're not public domain like they are now.
Hmm.
So maybe there's issues with that. I don't know, but I certainly would never think that they'd be like, "Oh, fanging me here,"
Well, because they
and
used
it like
Baron
it
von
hurts my
Frankenstein from the
ears.
get-go.
What's that?
Well, they used Frankenstein from the get-go because of Boris Karloff, so why not just call it the monster? I don't know. He's
Yeah,
a scientist with his last final discovery to go out on a bang. You know what? Whatever. I'm just gonna take the good with the
because
bad.
they could have gone with the Bride of Frankenstein. They weren't going to ever get around that, but with the other ones. Like you have Count Dracula, right? And I'm sure if they were called out about that, they'd be like, it's based off of the novel. So you
Hmm.
could have done the same thing with the other ones.
But I mean, clearly
If
when
they're
you
like the
look at
Invisible
him,
Man, it's like, well, H.G. Wells. What's that?
it's Bela Lugosi,
Yeah,
and he
that's
doesn't
definitely
have
what they're
like the
going
straight
for sure.
accent, but it's totally there. And I mean,
Correct.
there's only 4 years difference between Bride and the original Frankenstein. It's 31 and 35, and this is probably
But the bride
67.
is not a Mary Shelley creation though.
There you
So
go.
that's why they can't do that. That one is a sticking point. They
Ah.
absolutely can't because that's only specifically based off of a movie that was like 25 years before this movie. It's not public domain. But with all the others, they could say it's the novel that we're basing this off of, even if they're lying.
Hmm.
They could say that. So it's like I get it why it's not like looking like the bride, but pick something else other than that. Please. For the love of God. And then yeah, then you have the like assistant, which like I said, he talks like Peter Lorre.
Uh-huh.
Um Dr. Frankenstein, like that whole kind of thing.
Oh, she
Um
finally touched me. Oh my God, I long for your touch. As she's fucking beating the shit out of him.
yeah, I kind of like
He like runs right into her
it.
tits. Like he's like running out of a room and I'm like,
Um,
oh my
you would
God.
think he'd be called Igor, and he's not. He's they have some random ass name for him. It's just a couple things like that that kind of confuse me. But
Well,
other
the
than that,
Igor
it's
thing is like
it's
if you're gonna get
enjoyable.
like technical about it, Igor is like Bela Lugosi in Son of Frankenstein, and he's becomes kind of like whatever the name of Frankenstein's son is, like his assistant, kind of, but like the original, assistant Fritz, is that it? I think I'm pretty sure that's his name, is not Igor. It's just it always gets confused in the zeitgeist.
Sure,
Same with the arms outstretched. That wasn't a Karloff thing.
sure.
Anyway,
The Invisible Man's fantastic though. Any scene that he's in makes me laugh.
yeah, it's good
Always.
shit.
Like the with the wearing the robe on the ship and like smoking the pipe and stuff.
Hmm.
Like it's all very good. I like it. Oh, they never say werewolf.
Yeah, they call
They
him
never
Wolfie.
call yeah, like they don't say wolfman or werewolf or anything like that. And
Does
like
the
they act
Wolfman have a
and
literary basis? I don't think it does.
I don't know, maybe not. Maybe that's the reason. So, yeah, they call him Wolfie and he acts like a dog. He never turns back into a person.
Hmm.
Um, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, maybe that is the reason for it. Because I don't think it does, unfortunately. But yeah, it's definitely it's fun though. Um, yeah. Yeah. I think that it was like a massive flop though. And I think that's why a lot of people don't know about it. Sadly.
No, but it's great. The Blu-ray looks really good. For not being a 4K, it does look really good. You haven't watched it on Blu-ray? Yeah, yours is shrink wrap
No,
still, so
no,
you
I
just watched the
watched it
Voodoo. It's pretty
on
good. It looks
Vudu.
really good. I'm happy with it.
Very good. I'll watch it in 2 years.
Very
I'll
good.
let you know how I
We'll
think
check
about
back
it.
into you in 2026.
Um, indeed. Um, so,
And obviously, I showed the same thing, so I'll just count that as me
mhm,
showing something.
correct. So I got this recently and I haven't watched it yet, of course, but it's it's a Shout Factory release, so it's
It's gonna be
good.
good.
It's a 4K. The previous one, I have a steelbook of this, but it's a Blu-ray, and it is John Carpenter's Escape from New York.
Very good. I've
Look
never
at that
seen this
fun
movie.
cover. You've never seen this movie.
No.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
And I know it got this release because I saw it recently, so it's been on my list of things that I do need to watch.
I feel like if you are a fan of John Carpenter, there's some things that you have to have seen. That's one of them. And then there is The Thing, obviously. There's The Fog
Uh-huh.
and probably Big Trouble in Little China. Those are probably the trifecta of what has to be seen if you're a fan of John Carpenter.
So this is the one that I have to see because I've seen all the other ones.
You've seen The Fog?
Yes.
We'll see it again because I remember making a reference about it that went over your head before.
Didn't that one
So
also recently get a steelbook that you showed off within the last year or two?
yeah, within the last year or two.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
also with
thought
that when
so.
I had more than one steelbook too. Again, Shout Factory getting me again multiple times as they always do, but
As
they're not
they always do.
Lionsgate, so
Yeah, he'd be lying if you said they were. But
they know
shh.
what they're doing. I
That they
still,
do.
when it comes to the Halloween stuff, those are the only steel books I never sell. I just put them in my closet. I sell
Hmm.
everything else. Like when I replace it, I sell everything else except the Halloween. And which is good because they get super
Stupid
valuable.
expensive.
And I still have that stupid Lionsgate 4K that's just atrocious, you know, just so bad.
Never seen it in person, but I have seen the YouTube comparisons of the Shout Factory one.
It's awful. I don't know what they did. They just cleaned it up better. But yeah, I mean, it's just so grainy, so grainy. It's like this is just god awful. It'll look worse than the Blu-ray. And then the Blu-ray
Unacceptable.
that was used for years was like wrongly color corrected, just it
Yeah,
went
there's like
years
so
and years
many
and years looking
different
wrong.
versions of Halloween that are on the 4K one. I think they have the incorrectly color timed one.
They probably do.
Because there is
They
something,
probably
there's some
do.
blurb in the back about color timing, a whole different version just
Yeah,
for
they had Dean
color.
Cundy look over the
That's what it
4K, the
was.
most recent one, the Shout Factory one from a few years ago that Dean Cundy went and completely because he was obviously the cinematographer that he approved it.
Hmm.
Which means that it was the original vision they had because there's a ton of different looking ones, over the years they keep messing it up. Like the Matrix, like everybody looks at the first Matrix as being so green, right? Like all the shots are green in the movie and
Yeah,
you
but
think
that's
it's
just
on
something that's added
purpose
after.
because you're like, hey, like, like the Matrix code, it's green, right? Like it's supposed to be green. Why aren't the other Matrix movies green in the same way? And they're like, yeah, because that was a mistake. That happened when they released it on home media. And I think the VHS is fine, but the DVD and Blu-ray screwed it up. The 4K, they finally brought it back to its original version. It accidentally, like somebody pressed the green button or something when they were putting it onto home formats and they screwed it up. Like it was never meant to look like that, but that's how so many people saw it for the first time, like that green. So I don't know. It does happen, unfortunately, and probably more often than we even know.
Hmm.
Though I guess the Terminator is good after, you know, um, the meanest man in the world has been, just complaining about people living in their parents' basements, complaining about his movies. And he finally listened to them for the Terminator and didn't use AI upscaling for the first time.
Oh wow, and that's the movie where you could use AI.
I mean, I wouldn't, I mean,
That was a
right.
complete joke just because I'm just talking about Terminators.
Anyway, so yeah, just ignore that, people. But obviously, James Cameron, aka, I assume you would have gotten that from the meanest man in the world. Like,
Hmm.
he is, people called him out for aliens in Terminator 2 looking in the abyss, looking awful because he hates film grain so much that he removes film grain from his movies. Like he's like George Lucas of film grain. And so he uses AI upscaling to remove all the film grain from his movies. So it creates a really waxy looking aesthetic that he seems to love. And when people finally said they didn't like it, he said, well, go back to your parents' basement, nerds, and like stuff like that. Like
The
you're a
douche.
dickhole. Completely. So I don't know. But Terminator came out and all of a sudden he listened. So I don't know.
This is good news.
It is. It is. All right.
All right,
What's your
so
next
we'll
item?
we'll pivot back to my last two Trick or Treat Studios items. So, oh shit, we already fucked it up. Here you go. The Dracula medallion replica because they don't sell these anymore. So
Really?
there was about, yeah, like Cheney stuff they still have, so Phantom of the Opera, Wolfman, and one other thing they still have. But if you go look under the Universal stuff, they don't have this anymore. Watch, they probably have it back now today that I said this.
Oh, that's right, because it's a universal thing. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so there was, I want to say, about 10 left. Nobody had bought any of them since last Halloween. It was in like the vampire section, where the costume stuff was. So I snatched one at the very beginning of the season that had a good box. But what I was really looking for is the threading right here. I had one that doesn't have any snags. There were some that were just god awful in the red material there, but medallion itself
Yeah.
looks great. So you can kind of see on the back, you get a little picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
very
Quality
cool.
control at Trick or Treat Studios is terrible.
Yeah, so like the one of the benefits that I have is I can look at like 10 things and pick the best one. Because
Mm-hmm.
usually there will be one that looks damn good. So, good with the bad, but had to get this. I liked it a
Emphasis
lot.
on one.
Yes, literally, it's always one, and there's always something that's in not perfect with it, but
Mm-hmm.
was happy to finally get this because they started
Very
to sell
good.
out of them. There's only a few left now, so had to get it. Get it while it's hot, baby.
Perfect.
Your turn, my good woman.
You know, it just occurred to me.
What?
The No, yeah. I think doesn't Universal have something to do with the most recent three Halloween movies?
Their
Like I
logo
know,
comes up when you watch the movie.
yeah. Like I know it's Miramax too, but and Blumhouse, but I think it's also Universal. Do they not sell those masks anymore?
No, they do. There's a whole section of them. Still on the website. You go into licenses.
Fascinating. 'Cause those are Universal
Ah.
properties.
Yeah, so the first movie, 2018.
Yeah.
Signed everybody. Universal. You'll see
Yeah.
Miramax as well, Blumhouse. But if I
Yeah.
just look at the last two, so for signed, you only see Miramax on there and Blumhouse.
Weird. So I think they still have something to do with that.
Well, if you watch these, the logo still comes up at like the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. So that's strange. I have several questions. Anyway, they could call them the Christopher Nelson collection or something. Yes, indeed. I don't know. Let's see here. I'll show this off. A little dusty. Dusty, dusty. One of the few things I actually have opened because I did play it. It is this.
Oh, very good.
Yes. Yes,
What do you think?
indeed. I tried to play this thing so many times and I don't like it.
Hmm.
I don't like it. No, ma'am. And it's because I have some very specific issues with it. And so let me tell you. No, I'm kidding. It's quick. Actually, my issues with it, it does not feel Halloweeny. And I'm just like, this sucks because it does not have a Halloween aesthetic to it. And I'm like, well, that's all I was really looking for was a Halloween aesthetic. It has this wonky ass story. Um, and it's like whatever character you play as, it's the same. I'm sure like I never played any of the Ash versus Evil Dead stuff, but I played as Michael and Laurie, and it starts exactly the same. This like demon thing says the same thing to both of them. And it's like, oh, it's time to escape Smith's Grove Sanitarium. And I'm like, why is Laurie in Smith's Grove Sanitarium? This doesn't make any sense, but
Are they brother
okay.
and sister again? Are they taking liberties
Um,
from Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? I'm
she's
being a
Jamie Lee
smartass, but
Curtis in it, so I don't know. But it just doesn't make sense. And it's so hard,
mm.
so stupidly hard for me to get past like the first level. Took me like hours.
Oh, so they're taking the old school thing seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can switch it into looking normal, which everything looks normal, and you're just not beating up, you're murdering like normal guards and inmates and stuff, or you could switch it into like hellscape and it's demons everywhere and you have to fight the demons. Like it's I don't get it.
Sounds
I
terrible.
I it's yes. There's not nearly enough like Halloween locations that you visit in it and stuff. Like I'm just like I massively disappointed in this game. And I never thought it was going to be good. We actually made a video that
Hmm.
will never see the light of day. Because we talked about it, but then like it would have had to have released within that next week. And it was like that's never
A
gonna happen.
possibility.
And basically the whole video was just us bitching about the game and how it looked and everything. So
Well, turns out we were
um
correct.
yeah. So I had to buy it, especially physically, because it was available a little while, digitally, like 2 weeks, something like that. And then they finally released it physically. So I jumped on it and it was so hard to find. Oh my God. Like I thought I could just go to Best Buy and get it because they still sell video games. Nope. Not a single Best Buy in a 250-mile radius had it. And then I was like, well, let me check out GameStop. And it was showing no GameStops had it in Michigan. And I was just like, oh, I kept looking. And finally, it said that there was like two that was like at the GameStop in Warren. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna go there. They close in like 20 minutes, but if I really floor it, I think I can get there. And I kept trying to call them, just
They
make
didn't
sure they
answer.
had it because I didn't want to just go for no reason. They didn't answer. And I called them probably 10 times. They never answered. So I was like, well, I'm really close to this GameStop here that's by Best Buy. So I'm like, let me just check, go in there. obviously they don't have it. The website says they don't have it. No Walmart's had it, no Target's had it. Um, and so I'm like, oh, I'll just check in. So I walk in there and I was like, I'm looking for this game. They didn't even know what I was talking about. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's like a side scroller, 2D, it's Halloween and it's Evil Dead, it's the whole thing. And they're like, ugh. And I'm like, it says that this GameStop here has it, not you guys, but this one. I'm like, can you call them? And so they called them and they were like, I think that they found out that that location in fact didn't have it. And so I thought I was just going to be just shit out of luck at that point. And then they're looking in their computer and they're like, oh, it shows that there's one in our system here. They're like, what do you want it for? And I'm like, PS5. And they're like, it says that we have one. And I'm like, really? And so this girl that was there spent probably like 35, 40 minutes searching around the entire store, calling her boss, like, are you sure it's here? If it's here, where would it be? And she's like digging like through all their games behind the counter. She goes into the back, she comes back, she looks at the computer again. Eventually, she finally finds it. And it was this one singular copy hidden in a stack of other unrelated games. And
Oh, I
she's
thought it
like,
was in the garbage can.
found it. Yeah, exactly. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. And so I was like, that's fucking awesome. And so then I got it and then I played it and I was like, it's
That
not so
wasn't
fucking
fucking
awesome.
awesome.
Not so much. I appreciate everything she went through though. Like she kept calling her boss and like trying to get him to tell her like tips and tricks to find out where it is in the store and
Uh-huh.
stuff. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool, but I don't know.
Very good. All
Yep.
right, here's the last Trick or Treat Studios thing I can show off so I can finally bury this hatchet.
Oh, right. Yep.
Finally, guys. So this was announced
5 years
last year.
later.
Well, it was supposed to come out last year. Like it was in the catalog and it never came to the store and
Was
never
it 2 years ago? Like it was last year too, but I think 2 years ago
is
was
when
when
they
they originally
announced
put
it.
it in there.
And then last year it was in the catalog for sure. Like it didn't say prototype under it anymore. And then they showed it again this year. I'm like, all right, well, I'll fucking believe it when I see it. And again, I looked through a stack of them and I looked through maybe 15 of these things. There was a decent amount of them. And the quality control was really consistent across the board, I have to say. So
Why'd
my
your
dis
face look like that?
what did I
You're
do?
like you're like the quality control is really consistent. Like you're pissed about it. Did you say
Well, we'll
consistent or did you say
no,
inconsistent?
I said consistent.
That's what I thought.
No, well then we'll look back at the video. We'll do a really super close up zoom in of that.
Anyway,
So my deciding factor was how the teeth were painted on. There were some that were a little more crooked than others, and as you can see, there's like a line underneath it, but I'm not going to get too angry about that. And I'm actually really glad that it is, the foam injected. What the hell? Is that the right word? Did I say that correctly? I feel like I just said that wrong. It's the
no.
injection mold. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Yeah.
foam. What the fuck? Anyway, I'm glad that they did that and it's not latex because I am very happy with this thing. It's not perfect, but it's really good. And especially from a distance, like I have it hanging up on the wall. It's really good. It's good shit.
Very good. Very good. The eyes are good.
Yeah, I'm very happy. You know what? Fuck it. We'll put this one on too. I haven't put this one on yet. And I do like the hair on it. It's a little red in person, but it's fine. You get a little ooh, I didn't even know there was a little strap on. Giggity. Let's put this bad boy on. Oh God, it's small.
I don't know how
Oh
small it
God.
is.
I can't see out of it. It
Makes
pushes
you look
right
like a
on my eye.
bobblehead. Lucille has finally entered his true form.
Oh, it's like pushing. It's so hard to wear it though, but I want to wear it. It's so cool. Your mother sucks cocks in hell, Harris.
Like
Harris.
Harris?
If you leave her a message, I'll be sure that she gets it. Beautiful. I'm glad to have shown you this now, finally.
Very good. Very good.
Gorgeous.
Very good.
Sculpted by
This
Alex
has
Ray.
very good.
What were you saying?
This has accentuated how long your hair actually is and how you've been trying to disguise it for all this time.
Oh, oh yeah, it's very long
Hmm.
and
For those
disguise
that
it this
don't
whole
know,
time.
everybody, um, the gentleman that has cut my hair since 2008. So, I mean, years and years and years and years. 15, 16 years. Right? Is that correct math?
16,
Yeah. 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 And cut Lucas's hair for a few years now.
almost
He
5. It was 4.5. It was right
yeah.
when I started there, the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic hit, actually. I asked for, you had a very, very good looking haircut. I asked him where he got his haircut, and he goes, "Oh, right over here." It's literally a 10-second walk from our
You know, they say
restaurant.
something's a stone's throw. This is literally a stone's throw.
Brandon could pick me up and throw me there. Actually, that's how close it
It's a
is.
Lucille throw. Yeah, exactly. Very, very close. But yeah, he passed away, unfortunately. Very suddenly.
That's what I was gonna say. Suddenly and out of nowhere. The day that Brandon had sent me the text message, it was a Tuesday, I believe. I was gonna call that day to set up an appointment.
You would have found out before I did. Because they were telling everybody that called,
Uh-huh.
so like I got the info from one of those people because they posted on his wall on Facebook, from
Okay.
somebody that called in for a haircut. Like they were letting everybody know. I don't think details or anything, but yeah. And he was 50 years old, has a wife and 3 kids, and it sucks really bad. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I miss him, and I'll continue missing him for the rest of my life, unfortunately. So, but yeah, so that actually is not the reason Lucas's hair is so floofy. That's a choice for some reason. Who would make that choice? I don't know. But it's gonna get a lot floofier probably. Did you ever call?
Well, this is
Like you
Thanksgiving
said?
week, so I know for a fact I wasn't even gonna get in this week, so I didn't even
Yeah,
bother
but it was
calling.
a
A week
like a
before
yeah, a
that, yeah,
week
I never called
ago
that.
that we
Yeah,
talked about it where you're like, I'm calling today.
yeah, it never happened.
Anyway,
I gotta wait till
uh
after the first of the month is over and I pay all these bills, then I'll get my haircut.
the first of the month, like December or January.
December.
It'll be January, just you watch. Lucas used to be in there every 2 weeks, which is
It was
insane.
every 3 weeks, but there's absolutely no way I could afford to do that anymore. Absolutely zero.
Insane. Insane. Anyway. Um
I just went
yeah,
last
the
in
last thing
sugar.
you showed was the
Reagan.
Reagan mask. Yeah. Um, so yeah, so I found this at a local Walmart, though they're readily findable on the website, I'm pretty sure. Um, and it is, yeah, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
AKA the good
And
one.
yeah, yeah, the good one. It's Winnie the Pooh and the Bludgeony Day. What is
Is that what
that
it says?
like making fun of?
I don't know, but
Like
I
Winnie
like
Pooh
it.
and like the Rainy Day or something? Is that like a title of something? The blood the Bludgeony Day. And this is it's Blu-ray. Yeah, I was about to say it's 4K. It's not. Not even. But yeah, it's
Isn't
Blu-ray.
it also Scream Factory, if I'm not mistaken?
It is, which makes it good. luckily. They're the ones that released the last one too on Steelbook.
Mm.
And it doesn't say anything about special features, so I'm assuming there's probably not, but that's weird for Shout Factory to do, so I don't know. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Um, Fascinating. Yeah, it's I haven't watched it yet, obviously. I look forward to watching it at home. And there has been like a little like videos and photos and stuff posted by um Scott Chambers about, the Pinocchio movie and obviously his Peter Pan movie and stuff like that. So, yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about it when we get there.
I just saw the announcement the other day that they're about to start production or active development on the Puniverse,
Universe.
which again is the worst name ever for it because it's like all these movies should be the Puniverse, and then this movie should just be called Monsters Assemble, because it confuses everybody so much that it's like just why didn't you do it that way? Like, why is this one called the Pooniverse, And then you have Charlie that calls it Pooniverse, and he calls these movies Pooniverse. Like, it's gonna blow his mind when the Pooniverse movie actually comes out.
Exactly.
He's gonna be like, the Pooniverse movie? Like, he'll probably talk on for 10 minutes straight about that and how it's confusing and stuff. And it's like, you're so far behind everybody else because everybody knew that, not really. The people that cared enough to learn it, they knew that it's this Avengers style movie that's called Pooniverse, but I don't know. Where's Bambi?
Yeah, come on.
I
We
was
saw the
under the
teaser for this.
impression that was supposed to
That
come
was like the
out
next
around
one.
October of this year. Yeah. So that's weird. Anyway, when they come out, as long as, like they come into theaters for 3 days, like this
Yeah.
one did, then we'll talk about it. I mean, we'll talk about it anyway, but we'll talk about it quicker, like we did with our videos. We
Dandy
beat
to work
everybody
yours
else
quicker.
almost. Nobody cared, but we beat almost everybody else. So,
Indeed.
yeah.
Alrighty. Here's the next one.
Alrighty then.
Crow Steelbook.
Yes, ma'am.
Nowhere near as bad of a movie as everybody claims it is. Beautiful.
Nope.
In fact, it's a pretty decent movie actually. So the
It
Steelbook is cheap,
is
of the cheaper ones that are out now.
like dirt cheap. And for it to be a
So
4K, like, huh? You know what's funny is my Nightmare on Elm Street arrives tomorrow.
oh,
I
of
could have
course.
had it in my hands for this, but nope.
Pieces of shit.
This is
That's
true.
a that's another story for another day.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. There's a crow on the back. It's a very aesthetically unpleasing steelbook. I hate to say, but
Well,
whatever.
here's your inside cover art. Ooh,
That's okay.
I like the back.
Oh yeah, the tattoo. That's fun. That's fun. But it's a really decent movie.
Ooh, look at the little art of Shelley. I like.
Yeah, I think it's her art.
I like. There's your other crow.
Very good. I
Only
was
because
wondering
this
where the
one was
other one
opened.
was. Very good. This next one, I wish I grabbed a fluorescent flashlight and been prepared for this. But I'll try to make do when
As you
I
generally
show it.
do.
Let's get it charged up just for a second there. Da, 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 da. It's not charged up,
No.
but this thing glows. Very good. Oh, so you would know that it
Yeah.
glows.
Yeah.
Very good. But
Very, very
yeah,
good.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. I was just thinking to myself last night how much I love the character of Rory. I was just by myself laughing about the thought of him. For
Ooh,
some
there's
something made me think of him taking the pills. I don't even know what it was, but he's like, "You need to stop taking these." Okay, fine. One more day, and then he takes one too. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say there's over 2 hours of special features. There's a making of and six more spooktacular featurettes.
That's great.
Cool. Cool.
I
Willem
like it.
Dafoe and the Ghoul Squad. Love that shit.
So good. This movie might make it onto my top 10 of the year. Who knows? Who knows?
Damn
Special
fine
feature.
film.
And that film is worthy of a
Of a
like and
like and
share.
a chat.
Like and share. Okay. So how many items do you have left?
One more movie and then two more items, but they're gonna go together.
Okay, I have six items. Um, okay, let's do this one. This one's a fun one. I pre-ordered this thing off Walmart a while ago, and I knew I had to because I knew it was going to sell out, and you couldn't really find it anywhere else. And it's an incredible movie. Um, was definitely on my top 10 list of last year, and I love it very much. And it is Godzilla minus
Oh
one.
shit. Good
Yes,
good for you. Good
indeed.
shit.
Yeah, I probably had it on pre-order 5 months, maybe 6 months. I had to just bite the bullet and just let it take the money out of my bank account and then just wait for them to put it back in because this was the only way to get it, unfortunately. And so I'm very happy.
Very
When
good.
this finally told me it shipped, I was like, hell
He came
yes.
immediately.
Indeed. Indeed,
Academy Award
indeed.
winner. Hell yes.
Yeah, for best visual effects. Is very, very much so deserving of it. What's even funnier about that is for people that don't know, when people started to just fawn over the special effects or visual, I hate when people do that. So it's so bad that I just did it. When people fawned over the visual effects of the movie, um, the guy was just okay. Like he wasn't like, yes, yes, I know. They're great, aren't they? Because it was like a team of like three people or something that did all the
That's
visual
nuts.
effects. So it is nuts. But yeah, they were very, very talented people. So yes, indeed. Next one.
Well, this is another one that you can knock out that you'll have something to show.
Yes,
The highly coveted, sought after, overly price inflated Amazon release for the Deadpool
correct.
Wolverine.
Correct.
So
Except
Brandon,
mine is the
mm.
Wolverine no, it's not. It's this version as well. That Wolverine one. I had it pre-ordered and
Oh yeah, so I thought you had both of them.
nope.
Oh,
No, it was pre-ordered. But that one it was a whole thing. Like this thing was dramatically overpriced.
65 bucks.
The Wolverine one was even more
By
and
$10 more if I'm not mistaken.
insane. And so I got Amazon to refund me um like 15 or $20 on this.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, yeah, we're not doing it again though. So I was like, well, I'm screwed then if I go and get that Wolverine one. And everybody was saying like, oh no, nobody's buying it. Everybody's sending it back, all this kind of stuff, which is might be true, but also you can't find them now. Like they sold out on Amazon, and maybe Amazon just went, just say we're sold out so we don't have to deal with it anymore because they were just so obnoxiously priced. And I really hope Disney wasn't like, let's do that again. Because, I mean, from our side of things, it was a massive failure to do it that way.
Hmm.
And I just think it's so shady of Disney to be like, oh, well, this was the most popular movie of the year. Well, guess what? It's $65. Like, come on. I saw a lot of people cancel their pre-orders.
I
And
wasn't gonna cancel mine and then have it be $150. You know what I mean?
yeah, you know,
Because I love the movie. I had to get the steelbook for it.
of course.
You're petting his penis.
But yeah, it's very fun. You know what's even more fun to me is that it occurred to me because Lucas was like, "Oh, this was before we knew that there's a price difference or even that they were going to be stupidly priced." Um, Lucas is like, I had to go with the Deadpool one. You know why? And I'm like, I don't care. And you're like, because of Dogpool. And it's like, at the time I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. Dogpool's on the Wolverine one too.
Oh, is he?
He's just as prominent on it. Yeah. So it's like, okay. Anyway, there's a Dogpool. Maybe you'll surprise me and you'll pull it out of your ass. But
Oh,
let
the
me tell
dog
you,
pool
people,
shirt.
there was a dog pool shirt at Meijer for $8 that I told this fool about. And I told him exactly where to find it, how to find it, and they had it there in his size and everything. And he talks all the time about dog pool, like literally anytime this movie's brought up, that's what he talks about is dog pool.
That's the only thing I
And
remember from the movie is
yeah,
dog pool.
and so I'm like, okay, there was a dog pool shirt. Like I almost got it myself, but I thought, no, no, no. I can't have the same shirt as this fool. And the, and so I'm like, okay, I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to him. And I was like, he's for sure going to get it. Of course. I mean, I even told him that it was available at the Meijer that is like 1 mile down the road from where we work. And it's not like Meijer doesn't have extremely convenient times. They close at 12 o'clock. They open at like 8. And yet I'm assuming that he doesn't have it.
Well, you'd be assuming wrong, Brandon, because no, yeah, I don't have the shirt.
Makes no sense. Anyway. Yeah,
Kind of looks like
whatever.
me. Looks like me in the morning. Oh, hell yeah.
Looks like you all the time.
I love the obnoxiously large J card J tag.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm gonna do to Lucas with that
And weren't
axe
we, that's
there.
4K, right?
Yeah.
And were we just talking last year how when they released it on Blu-ray, they were just going to release it in 4K on a steelbook like they did with
Yeah,
Megan?
it's their thing that they do with especially horror movies like Megan and all of that. They always release it first on Blu-ray and then
Test the waters with all the
they
guinea
wait like a
pigs.
year and then they'll release it a year later on 4K Steelbook. There won't even usually be a normal 4K. It'll almost always be a Steelbook. That's what they do now. I don't know why. So if you ever want the Steelbook for one of these, then you just wait.
Shit, you gotta wait. Pieces of shit.
Yep, indeed.
I only have this last pair of things to show off. So you can show off a few more movies if that's what you're showing.
Yeah, I have three things altogether.
All right, well, do the next one. I'll do this little one, and then you can finish it off with your last two.
So this movie, I have not seen it, but I've seen the two previous ones and I love them. So I figured it's probably good. It's not directed by or written by, as far as I know, John Krasinski. It's definitely not directed by him. Whether or not it's written by him is I'm unsure of. But um but yeah, whatever. I mean, he has like very little to do with it, but it is A Quiet Place Day One,
Ah,
and the especially the first one is definitely one of my all-time favorite movies. And the second one has Cillian Murphy in it. So that's all you need to know with that. And yeah, they're incredible. So I'm just assuming that this one probably is fantastic. It's
well,
sold out.
you're gonna have to let us know what you think of it when you watch it. We trust your
Indeed.
opinion
I
here.
mean, it's a movie that came out this year, so I have to, just like you have to.
Yes.
So you know exactly where it fits onto your top 10 or bottom 10 list. Um, just like, Civil War and Long Legs and The Substance for you. Um, yeah, all this stuff. Good luck. Good luck.
Did
That's all I say to you. Um, yeah. Sing Sing.
that one ever get a physical release?
I have no idea. If you look it up, it's being that it released at like a festival one time in 2023. It actually says it's a 2023 movie, even though it's not. Its actual official release was April of 2024. But same
So
thing with
suck
like
it.
yeah, which that one, spoiler alert, unless something massively changes, that's probably going to be my number one or two movie of the year. And yeah, yeah. And then there's
Well, Late Night with
shit.
the Devil came out on streaming or whatever, IFC channel, and then it got its theatrical release. But everywhere you look, it doesn't give the year it came out in theaters. It gives it the year it came out on IFC.
Well, it's a Shudder movie.
Oh, well, that's what I meant to say. Sure. Oopsie.
Yeah. As far as I know, people consider it a 2024 movie though.
Okay, good. I hope they do. I hope they do.
As far as I know. Yeah, there's a ton of movies that came out this year though, and people love them all. So it's pretty crazy. Um, and then whatever the hell that other um knee kneecap, that movie. That was good. Anyway, that was the AMC Sight Unseen thing that helped me out with two of those,
Oh, yeah.
which was lovely. And then they stopped doing it. And I was like, what the shit? Anyway, um, speaking of good movies, this is a fantastic movie. It is, I think people know my feelings usually that I will just not buy something that doesn't release on Steelbook. But I'll tell you what, I've had this movie on regular Blu-ray for years. So
Hmm.
that really says something, I think. And so finally it released on a Steelbook for the 10th anniversary. And it's incredible. It's a David O. Russell film and it stars fat Christian Bale. And that's really all you need to know is fat Christian Bale. And then Bradley Cooper, Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, and Jennifer Lawrence. I can't believe I momentarily forgot her name. She's like one of the most famous people ever. But yeah, it's really good. Look at that fat Christian Bale.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Good. Yeah. What's that from? Tell me. Comments
Bruce
below.
Almighty. Oh shit. You weren't talking to me.
Bad, Lucas. Okay, now.
Very, very bad.
All right, it's a very, very nasty woman, okay? A very, very nasty, nasty, frankly, frankly, I think is a very nasty woman. A very nasty woman.
Very nasty.
Frankly, frankly, I think she's a fucking nasty woman. And here's my newly curated JD Vance impression. I fucked a couch. Wasn't
Good
that
night,
perfect?
everybody.
I'm here all week.
Yeah, that was good. Good
Perfect.
shit. All right, my dear lady. We're at the very last one.
Yep.
I
This one will
think
come out tomorrow.
so. I bought these like separately, but when you see what they are, you have to get both of them. So I'll show this one first. Are you ready to see some wall art?
Yes.
Check this out. It's the I call it the the Johnny Cash Frankenstein's monster. So as you can see,
Okay.
he's clutching his heart that's newly sewn into his body with a tattoo of his loverly bride smoking his cigarette, presumably after sex, which is fantastic.
Fascinating.
Um, and then of course had to get the companion one. Here's the bride with her with her matching tattoo. She's holding her tits. There are multiple like different poses of like the monster in the I hate your face right now. I'm gonna smack you with this frame. Um, but I love them side by side. They're absolutely great. So I did want to put them
Cool.
right up here, but they also would look really like look pretty hot like above the bed. You know what I mean? Really set the mood. There's another one. It's like a landscape one of the two of them together smoking cigarettes and drinking martinis. And that was great. Now that would be great for the kitchen. However, there's one more poster that I really do want to put right in that spot. That
What
spot,
spot? Oh, okay.
the big one. It's
Yeah.
it's from the original Texas Chainsaw, and it just has all the family members. I'm assuming it's some like behind the scenes photo. And they're all just like sitting on the porch of the
Sitting on
house
the
and it yeah,
porch.
and it says
Yeah.
welcome to the family, which I think is perfect for the kitchen because, cannibals.
Sure. I think Hannibal Lecter would probably be the best.
Oh, oh, oh. I'm glad I opened my mouth.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that's like a if
That's
you
what
know,
I
you
would
know kind of
think.
thing.
Yeah.
Huh, okay. Very interesting. But
But I
those
have some very
were
specific ideas for what you can put up on your wall that I will purchase for you and say put them up on your wall right now, you fucker. This is the last time that we're gonna have to watch something get washed out on the screen, like that poor mask did, and somehow went from like a very dark orange color to looking like white and black and white and sad, like Lucas.
I was gonna say very similar to me.
Yeah. Speaking of sad, it may or may not be. I honestly don't know. I don't want to see Gladiator 2. I don't. I don't want to see it. But I think I'm gonna have to because people are raving about
Oh,
it.
they are.
Yeah.
I
I've never
mean,
seen the first one.
okay.
I know things about it.
I know some things. I know some things.
Joaquin Phoenix, as well as it was the first digital recreation of a dead actor with Oliver
Oh,
Reed.
oh, really? Didn't know it was the
Yeah,
first recreation. Interesting trivia.
yeah. It's like really though, they say it's like the first digital recreation. And if you look at how they did it, it's a scene that was already in the movie. that they took and they added like some digital shit to it. You know, like
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can really say that that's like a digital recreation, but okay. Because you have the Crow. I'm not sure when Gladiator came out in relation to the Crow, but the Crow has a digital face. Wait, no, it's actually technically not digital. Maybe that's why.
They're
It
going
was
off
just Brandon
technicality,
Lee's
huh?
face that they put over a different actor or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But on to the final item of the night, and my computer's at 10%, so it's perfect.
Perfect.
I sense there's something in the wind. It's not Nightmare Before Christmas
I
for
was
me
I
at
was
all.
expecting it to be. You blue
You would think
ballser.
so. You would think so. But no, this one is one that you actually already know. Um, it's your retribution right here for not getting the dog pool shirt. Anyway, no, that's not really what it is.
This is your
Um,
retribution.
so it is this, which was my birthday gift from Lucinda.
Where I painstakingly combed over because that mask, there are so many like well, there was one that was torn, but there's so many
Ooh.
issues because it has such a large gaping giggity hole in the side.
Yeah,
So this was one that like Brandon was like, okay, I can have you hand pick one because I don't know what, and I would prefer that too because I don't know what Brandon's gonna get sent from Trick or Treat Studios. We don't trust them.
that's a fact. The mask I had, there's is a special features that talks about it in some way. Though not the most notorious special features item. I have that set aside right here. Just a piece of it, the most notorious one ever.
The
The rest I
remnant.
threw away, but I kept this. So that's fun. Lucas, anyway. Um,
The minion lurker.
yeah, so but it was like the dream sequence hospital mask. Like that thing got a screwed eye cut on it. Like you think that like it was a small issue, it was a small mistake, a big issue. Because it was like they're like, oh, that so this line here on the eye, that means that you cut it there, right? You know, like it was obviously people didn't know what they were doing, the sad Hispanic people in that Mexican cave, that are barely ever given food or water, and beaten regularly by Chris Sefro as he's dressed as a leprechaun. It's weird, I don't know. But it was like I hate that. And that's the kind of stuff you get from them is stuff like that. And so then there's this. And I will say, I did see a couple of these at Motor City Comic Con, like sitting on a shelf.
Hmm.
And I will say that it might be a defect, but I like it that this little flap here
That it kind of like pops open.
curls. Yeah, that it
I
pops
noticed it as you
open.
were talking, and I do
Because
like it.
no other one I've ever seen has that. It's all just flat. And I'm like, that will
Oh,
not do.
you're saying on yours specifically, or the Trick or Treat Studios as a whole? This mask.
This specific mask
Okay.
from all the Trick or Treat Studios ones, I don't know if the Screen News one had that. I assume it did, but I don't know. Just out of the Trick or Treat Studios ones, this is the only one I've ever seen that like flaps,
Well, because
which
if you look at how it
adds
flaps
more
open
character to it.
on the bottom of the cheek, it really gives it that blown out appearance, which was again one of the other reasons I picked that one because that whole thing is all cut, all funky for every single different one.
Yeah,
So I'm actually
good.
very happy that you're happy with it because you're very particular. So that makes me
A very particular set of skills. Skills I've
yes,
acquired over a long career.
yes,
Skills that make a nightmare for people like you.
Brandon's boot camp that he put me through in the last couple years of mask what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. Just being able to point out these details.
Procuring.
Yeah, because at Screamers I'm there. I don't know if am I supposed to say the name? Who cares? I'm known as the guy
Oh, it's
that
been said before already. You did a video at it.
True. I didn't explicitly say that I worked there, I don't think in the video, but who gives a shit. Um, but no, I'm known as the mask guru, which probably makes Brandon laugh because he's like, "Oh."
Yeah. Yeah. So he I feed Lucas knowledge and then he takes it there.
And I just pawn it off as my own. I think I'm a genius. It's great.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was there was one instance where I don't know what they were being used for. I forgot to ask, and I should ask at some point, but it was like a little bit before Halloween. The owner was like, "I need you to go to the spoof masks, which are the scary movie masks, and pick out
Yeah.
three of the best ones, best paint job, best everything." I'm like, "Okay, all right." Brandon has taught me well. My first instinct was, well, let me just go home and I'll just go grab the ones that I have because those are the best.
Insert the Robert Redford, the
Yes, that is definitely an invaluable skill that Brandon
Yeah,
has taught me. Because there was one instance where it actually came into play where there was like this big ass, like it's like $110, huge like wolf kind of mask, like big hair and everything. And there was three of them. The guy was like, "I want the best one." So I had enough time to lay all three out and explain what makes a mask look the best. It's a lot of fun. People think that you're like a real huge authority. Gratifying.
or they think you're crazy if you go to Party City and you ask to see all their masks.
Well, I can
Yeah,
imagine at a store like that where they don't really give a crap, as opposed to like, Screamers or Spirit where it's a little more like centralized. I feel like they would probably look at you like you were a fucking freak show.
they do.
They
They do.
do,
They
it's a
stand
regular
back and they
occurrence.
watch and they laugh. It's like Best Buy, the days where I would look at all the steelbook spines. They saw me
And they're
coming from like a mile away. They
and they're
hated
just
it.
crowded in a circle, like jeering at you, throwing rotten tomatoes literally at him, but he doesn't care. Brandon doesn't care.
No, I miss that days of old actually. Being able to look at stuff in person like that, steelbooks in person. Because Walmart gets them every now and then, but not on the same scale.
No.
I'm still grateful to that Walmart stepped up though, and that we still have them, at least from their website. If it wasn't for that, we'd be screwed.
And I know Target does have
There's
steel
a
books,
bat
and
signal there.
Target right now has a buy two get one free for their 4Ks right now, I believe, or all physical media, one or the other. So something to look out for, everybody. Now until I think Christmas.
Very good. Very, very good.
Indeed. Yeah, because that was close.
Right. I mean, I guess like very it rhymes with it, but
Bit should be smart enough to know.
it should be. It should be. Hey Viri. Hey Viri. Hey, now it's not doing it. Hey
Because it
Viri.
knows. It knows better.
Nope. You know better.
I'm disappointed. Son, I am disappointed.
Here's a secret item here. Like I have no more real items, but here's a real secret item that you'll never know where it's from. No, you won't. No, you won't.
Not until next year.
Maybe not even then. We don't want
We're
people doing the
we're
same
we're just
thing.
not going to talk. Though there's a whole
Not
corner of
not about that specifically.
there's
Even
a
though
whole
there's
corner that's
you
just
in
decaying
at
from.
least one video of you feverishly grabbing them off the ground and like putting them in your shirt.
They were on the ground for you to
I'm like,
taking.
I'm trying to say something here, like, and I'm like, get up, and you're like picking up every little piece.
This is a true story, by the way. Like there is some hyperbole here and there with Brandon's recounts of our tales. That one there is none. That's really how it happened.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember pulling my shirt out, but I'm pretty sure I did.
I assume you did because you grabbed so many of them. And it's like, how else do you pick out that many of them?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's a great memory. I'll have that till I die. Till I forget it next week.
Now, anytime you watch the unnamed movie, you'll think about that.
The last time I watched it, which was like 2 weeks ago, was after we did all that again. That was the best like watch experience of that movie I've ever had. And I've liked that movie since I watched it like 3 years ago, whatever.
Yeah,
But like we were there, man. And I can't believe how much of it was here. It's like the whole fucking movie.
it is. Yeah,
It's
except for that, just probably that one scene with you know,
yeah. And well, obviously you guys will know about it, but it's our most ambitious, coolest project to date. It's so cool.
correct.
And if it doesn't put us on the map and we get 88 views on it and the flat lines, we're done.
I would be very disappointed, but I wouldn't like regret it or anything.
I mean, I'm making a joke. I'm not being like
I would
serious.
regret the editing of it though. That's for damn sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed, but we're keeping you in the dark until then, so don't even try.
Yes, indeed. Sometime next year. Who knows when? Who
Indeed.
knows? Who knows?
Mm, mm.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. What new purchases have you acquired over the last
Two
two
months.
months?
How was your
And
Halloween?
yes, yes, let us know. Let us know how it was. Did you play this trash fire? This dumpster fire?
If that's how you spent your Halloween like evening, like the 31st, I would be so disappointed.
That would be very sad. But who knows? Maybe the game gets better at some point. I don't know. That's probably not true. Rest in peace, Tony Todd, as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to speak on that at all. I don't even think we talked about it in text or in person, but RIP.
I don't think Venom's on this shirt anywhere, but yes. Um, and Candyman and the morgue technician from Final Destination and the voice in Final Destination 3 of the roller coaster.
Oh, mm.
It was like a demon. I can't
Would have
think of
never.
it. The demon drop or something. I don't know what they call it in that movie. I should because it's one of my favorites. It is my favorite Final Destination movie, in fact. And
If I
it's like this
remember
demons
correctly,
on top of it, and he's like, like that's Tony Todd, but he also says things like, "You'll never be able to get through this coaster," that kind of crap.
yeah, so this was during the era when DVDs had like a bunch of crazy ass features, like to get you to buy the movie again or buy it again or to buy it after you see it in theaters.
Yeah, the something edition.
This is the create your own movie edition. Interactive features
Good
lets you
shit.
decide the fate. Did you ever have this DVD? Have you ever done this?
No.
Do you want to for your favorite movie? You're like, no, it's my favorite. I don't really care. There's your coaster. Here's your
Why is
coaster.
this just a DVD?
Yes, it was.
Like
It's
the
just
most
a DVD
expensive DVD I've ever seen in my life?
for $3.
No, at the bottom.
Oh, remember when Borders
That
and
sad sack
Barnes
that
and Nobles would sell
purchased this.
movies? Yeah, for
I
that
do, and they
price.
were obnoxiously expensive. I remember seeing Titanic there one time.
Yeah, there was a Borders. I don't know, it could still be there for all I know, but it was somewhere in Birmingham, and it was like
Borders
a
isn't
two.
open anymore.
Oh, they're completely closed.
Yeah, they've been closed for
Okay,
years.
I get. Oh, wait, you're gonna tell me Walden Books is closed too?
Yeah.
That part was a joke.
Barnes and Noble is the only one
Okay.
that's still open.
So I'm pretty sure it was a Borders then, so it's got to be closed. But it was like two stories, and then the bottom was like all the books. The top had like almost like a library of DVDs and VHS. And I remember they were this price, and that was in like the early 2000s. So like adjust that for inflation. Holy shit. Like that's the price of a 4K now. Crazy.
It is
No, but when
crazy.
but when you said Final Destination 3, I specifically remember that being like a selling point when the DVD came out. And now I want to try it. So
Very good.
do you watch the whole movie with your own version or is it just clips? I'm interested to know now.
I think you make choices and stuff. Like, is the character gonna do this or do that? I think they still die. They just die in different ways.
Huh. Wonder if it's on
Something
like
like
the
that.
actual DVD or the special features DVD. Anyway, guys, we're splitting hairs here. I'm gonna keep talking. Brandon needs to go. I need to go.
Tony Todd,
All right.
voice of the roller coaster in that movie, though.
If you look closely, you can see him right there. Yeah, it's the
You would think
coaster.
that the demon would be on there somewhere subtly. Um, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Create your own movie, everybody. Okay, there you
Do it. Create your own Weish episode by being
go.
our editor. We have no money for you, but you can do it.
You can get paid in smiles and solace.
And experience.
So hey, you need an internship for your broadcast career? We got you hooked up.
Yeah.
Credits included.
We're an accredited program
Yes, we are.
with Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and Harvard.
I get the two mixed up occasionally.
Me too. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.